And welcome back to Sin and Fin, the Dugout Decisions Show. The Blue Jays won another series, man. The Blue Jays are back, it seems like. 4-2 on the homestand. You take 2 out of 3 from the Boston Red Sox after losing the first game, and now you go into a 4-game series in Minnesota against the Twins. Life just feels good. It seems like the Blue Jays are back. And who else is back? We got Tyler Clement back on the podcast. What a series. And thank you, Tyler, for coming back on.
Oh, it's great to be back. It's also great to see that the Blue Jays have won three straight series. After the start we had, finally feels like 2025 team is coming back. So, we'll see if we can hold this up.
100%, 100%. And really, all we got to do right now is just stay afloat and not completely sink, right? Like other teams are doing. And you see the Boston Red Sox out there, and then you see the Philadelphia Phillies firing Rob Thompson yesterday. There's a lot of good teams out there not performing, and it's good to see the Toronto Blue Jays seemingly back on track. And let's get started here with the series standouts and talk. I just talked about a lot of people that are back, whether it's the Blue Jays, Tyler. Another guy that is back is Trey Savage, and boy, oh boy, it was just so nice to see him on the mound. Was he like striking out everyone like he was against the Dodgers and Yankees? No. It is April. We don't need you to do that. We need you to preserve your velo, preserve your nasty splitter for the playoffs and later in the season. And he looked good. Like it wasn't like he was awful or anything or struggled really at all. He averaged 94.3 on his fastball, which it like for me that's good. For me to see Trey Savage throw that hard is good. If he was pulling a Jose Barrios going out there throwing 91, 92, I'd be concerned. And we'll get to Jose Barrios later. But he didn't do that. He was throwing 94, and he also like this was probably the biggest one for me. 0 walks. That's very tough as a starting pitcher to throw no walks, especially over 5 1/3 innings pitched, which Trey did, and he got up to 74 pitches before John Schneider took him out of the game. So he probably could have gone another inning, maybe another inning and a half, and it was just so good to see Trey back on the mound.
Having Trey Savage back is absolutely huge for these Blue Jays amid all the injury troubles we've had this season. As you mentioned, the walks, 0 walks, absolutely phenomenal. And another thing that I wanted to note is we're used to seeing Trey Savage strike out 9, 10 batters a game potentially, and he only had three. So to see him be able to get the game done with some weak contact, which we
Mm.
saw basically all day, and he was very efficient, like you mentioned, 74 pitches through 5 1/3, like that's so great to see. And the velo was slightly down, but I don't think it's concerning, especially considering he was just injured.
Yeah, we'll get to some bats here as well, and George Springer is maybe not the one who made the most profound impact on the series, but definitely awesome to see him back. And I don't think someone could have predicted that he shows up game 3 of the series. It's just like kind of random. Like he just like I don't know how that works. I don't know why he didn't come in for games 1 and 2 and then just it isn't even in the lineup for game 3. They just
Yeah.
activated him. I guess they were just rushing to DFA Eloy Jimenez or something to that effect. And so George Springer was back today. And before his at bat, the Toronto Blue Jays fans were giving him a standing ovation. Crazy stuff. I mean, these Blue Jays fans are amazing. Like they're crazy and crazy loving and supportive. Like Blue Jays fans don't boo and aren't the negative type of fans. And you'll see other teams in Toronto, like the Toronto Maple Leafs. Their fans are a complete 180 from Blue Jays fans, and Blue Jays fans are overly supportive. And I think the Blue Jays have had more playoff success recently than the Toronto Maple Leafs. Anyways, but they're just very supportive, and they showed that support by giving George Springer a standing ovation. And what does George Springer do against Giovanni Moran? He has a first pitch single off a changeup, drives in a run, and there's no better way to start back from the IL with a hit and especially an RBI. And it's just going to be so nice to see George Springer hitting at the top of this Blue Jays lineup again.
It's so great to see. And like you said, first pitch swinging back like he never even left. So the average when he went down was kind of low. So let's hope he can, come back from this injury, get the hitting back on track, kind of turn in back into 2025 Springer that we all know and love. And yeah, like you said, the fans, man, we have the best fans in baseball, like without a doubt. And, I think a big part of that ovation might have been the fact that we have had all these offensive players get injured. So to
Mm.
finally have one of these guys come back into the lineup is a big success and, something to be excited about for sure.
And more are coming. More are
More
coming.
are coming.
Addison
Barger.
Barger tomorrow, maybe? Like, could it be the next day, the
Hopefully.
next series? Like, it's getting more and more exciting. And then just talk about Trey Savage, and we'll talk about some other arms that are coming back as well. So help is coming right when the Toronto Blue Jays are playing their best, and it's exciting baseball to watch. And another guy, like super exciting to watch, is Ernie Clement, who hit his first home run of the year today, and it wasn't like a nuke. It wasn't okay. Like this is obviously a home run. It was hit very hard. It was on a line, and it just went over the wall for a home run. And to go along with that, he made a wonderful play defensively. He made this look way easier than it was, I'm sure. And there was a guy on second early in this game three, and as Dan said, Ernie Clement made a Jeter type play defensively and got I think it was Willie Abreu by a couple of steps. It wasn't even close because he got that ball out of his hands so quick. So props to Ernie Clement. If you look at the box score, if you like, it's not going to light it up or anything. But Ernie Clement is just so productive when it comes to defensively, and then it's nice to see him hit his first home run today for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, you know what? We've been seeing Ernie Clement do it on both sides of the ball for the entire season. So he's such a great guy to, have around and in the lineup. And he's been hitting 1 and 2 with Springer being out. So I doubt he will, kind of going forward. But I think if someone gets injured, he is the next man up to fill in kind of at the top of the lineup for sure.
100%. And he's so flexible when it comes to that. Like he's not stingy. I think
Oh,
Vlad is
yeah.
kind of stingy where he hits in the lineup. Not like his attitude or anything. If you hit him seventh, like I'm sure he'd give the guy $500 million. Like it just makes no sense. But I'm sure it'd be like, oh, whatever. It's best for the team. Or if you hit him first, like he just seems to hit well in the third spot, and you don't want to move him off his spot really. With Ernie Clement, just put him anywhere, put him in the lineup, and he will produce. And he's been showing
Doesn't
that.
matter.
And I was just talking about Vladdy here and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Man, if you look at this guy's stat line, it is insane right now. He's up to a 358 batting average on the season. Guys, it's almost a month through the season. And I think it is a month through the season because it started in March. Um, that's insane. That is insane. And for the series, he is 5 for 9. And when I watch him, I'm like, this guy just seems insanely clutch. There was that narrative last year. Vladdy's not clutch, whatever. This year, I feel like every time there's a guy in runner score with a guy in scoring position, it's like a bloop single over the second baseman's head, and he scores him every time. And I'm like, I gotta see the stats here. He's hitting 292 with runners in scoring position. Fantastic, like just unbelievable. And this was something I thought was cool as well. He has a higher batting average with men on base than with no one on, which which is crazy. He hits better with guys on base than when nobody's on base. So that's incredible. Props to Vlad. It's hard not to talk about Vlad in every episode. I mean, we got to talk about him. He's our star player, and he performed once again in this series against the Red Sox.
Yeah, like you said, I could go on and on and on about Vlad, about how great of a player he is. And right now, he's getting hot. Like he is fuming at the plate. He goes up there with a great approach. He's not swinging at bad pitches. He's not striking out near as much as, we've maybe seen in past years. And like you said, hitting with men on base, that is something the Jays at the start of the season really had struggled with. So to see guys like Vlad and realistically the whole lineup kind of start to come through with runners on base, it's been a huge reason why, we've been turning the season around a bit recently and, we've won all of these last three series.
And you brought up a huge point there. It's clutch hitting. And there was a stat flying around like the Jays
Oh,
suck with the bases loaded. Like they were like 1 for 20 a few days ago, which is horrible. It's like 0-50. It is insanely bad. And today, what happened again? They had the bases loaded. Who's up? It's Kazuma Okamoto. And he had a 2-run single, a huge 2-run single. And and we started to hit him cleanup at the start of the season. We hit him in the 4 spot quite often, but the situational hitting just wasn't there. I feel like he got tense at the plate when there was runners in scoring position, and now he's a clutch hitter and seems to be more calm at the plate and produce in those times. And as he was today, he was hitting cleanup. So maybe this can be more of a consistent thing for the Blue Jays is Kazuma Okamoto hitting cleanup because it has been Jesus Sanchez, but Jesus Sanchez, I believe, was hitting fifth today. So maybe that's something that we see. And Kazuma Okamoto has really turned it up and produced for this Blue Jays lineup.
yeah, no, like you said, the cleanup hitter is kind of, switched around a bit, whether it be Kazuma Okamoto, Jesus Sanchez, like you said. But with the way Kazuma Okamoto's been hitting recently, I'd keep him there. Like at the start of the year, I'm pretty sure in his first 15-ish games, he had only 3 RBIs, and I'd like to see what he's at now. But it's like it's been a complete 180, it feels like, for these past couple weeks for Kazuma. And like we mentioned last episode, he stepped back in the batter's box, and it's continued to work for
Mhm.
him. And as well, the clutch hits.
Yeah, and he's been so good, and I think a lot of that is just adjusting to the major leagues. And who knows? It's
Mhm.
been like a month. There's probably a
Yeah.
way better version coming soon in a few months, and I'm excited to see it. Another guy who we were kind of grilling on in the last episode, along with Tyler Heineman, because the catching tandem just has not been producing offensively, is Brandon Valenzuela. Brandon Valenzuela, tremendous defensive player. And I was looking up Jose Barrios' velocity on Twitter from yesterday's game, and I stumbled upon this post that TJ Stats, shout out TJ Stats, produces incredible content on Twitter with minor league and major league players. And he said that he posted this graphic. He always posts like defensive graphics, and he posted this graphic that had Brandon Valenzuela fourth in fielding run value for catchers. This is all season long. And Brandon Valenzuela was called up, what, like 2 weeks after the season started? And he's a part time catcher. He's not a full time catcher by any means. He's fourth. And this was behind, like right behind Dylan Dinkler, who won the Gold Glove last year for the catching position in the AL. Insane. Like this guy is a wonderful catcher defensively, and seems like he'll be a wonderful catcher going forward, and a nice tandem with Alejandro Kirk, as we talked about in the last episode. And today he showed that he can hit a little bit. He was 2 for 3 in today's game, including a home run in center field. And if you watch back the replay for this home run, it's a nice swing. It's a very easy swing, and that's what my dad said. It's easy pop. Like it seemed like a very easy swing. I'm sure the bat speed wasn't like incredible on that, and he sent it to center field. So if Brandon Valenzuela or Tyler Heineman can start hitting, I think this helps the Blue Jays out a lot and just get some production out of that catcher slot.
Yeah, it's no secret that Brandon Valenzuela had really struggled in his first few weeks in the majors with the bat specifically. The defense has been great, don't get me wrong. So it was really good, that swing, like you said, it was absolute butter. And he does have a phenomenal swing. So, if he can consistently put together these great swings, have some decent ABs, I could see him being all right hitter for us. But like you said, it is the defense that, brings him his value. And one thing I wanted to point out that I have really noticed recently with Valenzuela is that he is very good with ABS challenges. Like, I think he was 3 for 3 today, and I don't know if that has anything to do with the fact that he was, a minor league player the last couple years because they were testing it out down there. I don't know if it's his experience or what, but it just seems like every time he's challenging, like at least 9 out of 10 times, even he's right.
I mean, that's a great point. And it's harder to quantify those ABS challenges, but he's been killing it. And it must be hard when it comes to confidence wise for a catcher who just got called up. And these are your first few games in the majors. And You have to have the confidence to call to challenge a call, like whether it's super early in the game or late in the game, and he's been doing a great job at like any point in the game. So he's been a joy to watch defensively, and it was nice to see him contribute offensively in the last game of the series today. And then just another thing I talked about with situational hitting, and I brought up some stats here. So in the Blue Jays' first game of the series, where they were stymied by Ranger Suarez, and that was a real tough watch. Just like lulling the Blue Jays to sleep with his cutter and sinker combo, and then late in the game mixed in that curveball that we couldn't hit at all. We were 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position in that game. In the last two games, 6 for 8 with runners in scoring position. That's a great number. That's batting 750 with runners in scoring position. Awesome. That's fantastic. And then today's game, where I think we scored 8 runs, 4 for 4, immaculate. Like amazing. So if this can continue to happen, it doesn't matter which Blue Jays are in the lineup. It could be Hendrik Pinango, who's actually looked quite good and probably should have put him on our list here. Um, if those guys can contribute situationally wise and hit a sac fly or move a base runner over like that all contributes positively to this Blue Jays team. And now just looking back at pitching, it's our bullpen. And man, we have been blessed with a wonderful bullpen so far in this season. Like it's incredible. And it's been headed by Louis Varland, the Blue Jays' closer. It sounds kind of crazy to say, but he is the Blue Jays closer. I thought he proved it yesterday. I think it was Caleb Joseph on the broadcast yesterday, and he said, man, this performance by Louis Varland, I think, really solidified him as the closer. And what did he do? He struck out the side, Tyler. Like he was incredible. And like a lot of them were chases. I have no idea what happened from last year to this year because I think it's the same stuff. It looks like the same pitch mix, fastball, curveball, slider, changeup. It was the same thing last year. You're not getting like 3 more ticks on your fastball, maybe some more movement wise, but it's pretty much the same Louis Varland when you just look at the peripherals as last year. But this guy is just dominating, and it's so much fun to watch. And he had a great appearance yesterday.
Louis Varland is absolutely electric. I think he's the future closer, hopefully for the rest of the season, given no injuries, fingers crossed. And to your point, yeah, he does have the same stuff. Like, yeah, to my knowledge, he hasn't changed anything with his release or he still throws the same pitches. But the biggest thing that, I think kind of generally he's done a lot better this year is he's locating a lot better, like around the edges of the
Mm.
zone rather than because last year we saw he let up a lot of home runs and it was usually like a pitch that he, threw right down the middle that he obviously would not have meant to. So him kind of living way more around the edges, making guys chase has been like a huge reason for his success, I feel.
Yeah, yeah, he's been incredible. So much fun to watch. Like I'm kind of
So good.
excited to see our closer coming to the game now
Mhm.
because this guy just pump strikes, like pump strikes. And who knows? Maybe they do a little closer entrance soon. I don't know. I haven't been to a
Mhm.
Blue Jays game in a while. I don't know if they got the Louis Varland closer entrance yet, but maybe that's to come. And they're playing like 3 days grace, going crazy. Like lights are blacked out. Like that should be exciting stuff when it does happen. And then our setup guy is Tyler Rogers, it looks like, at least for now. And it I'm astonished by how easy he makes it look on the mound. Like every time he goes out there, it's like 3 up, 3 down, and it just
Mhm.
looks like the easiest inning I've ever watched. It's incredible. And he's got a .59 ERA over 15 and a third innings pitched. That is incredible. And we've got this guy under contract for, I think, 3 more years. It was like $39 million. Right now, it looks like a steal. It looks like a steal. He's been truly incredible, and it's like it's unsustainable. I know, guys. It just is. But is it like that? That's kind of what I have in the back of my mind. Is it unsustainable? Because like he just looks incredible and it looks insanely easy right now.
Yeah. his contract was absolutely a steal, like you said. And I feel like the biggest thing for him to like how he can just kind of go out there and do it every time is just how consistent he is. Like he consistently locates, he consistently his velo like kind of stays the same. Like he kind of just is one of those guys that just goes out there and you know exactly what you're gonna get out of him. Like he's a ground ball pitcher, you know?
100%, 100%. And it's just so much fun to watch. And then if you see like a little strikeout every now and again, awesome. Like that's
Here and
cool.
there.
We don't got to see that though. Just give us all the ground balls. We got Jimenez. Okamoto's been good defensively, and we got Ernie Clement out there as well. Like it's so fun to watch. And then, hey, Jeff Hoffman, a guy who's caught a lot of flack, not only from this podcast and Aiden Sinclair. Aiden Sinclair is not a Jeff Hoffman fan, but he looked good. He looked good. I think it was yesterday's game, clean inning. And something Aiden brought up was last year Jeff had like seven clean innings and like 65 appearances, which is nuts. It's nuts that stat that he found, and he had a clean inning yesterday, two strikeouts. It just kind of feels like that kind of role for Jeff Hoffman. He's been in this role. It's not foreign to him. It's not like he's been a closer all his life and has no idea what it's like to be a seventh inning guy now, or just to be a high leverage guy that's not in the ninth inning. No, like this guy, if you look back to his days as a closer, say last year, he performed way better in the 10th inning when we went to extras. This guy was incredible in the 10th inning. I mean, he would like strike out the side every time we went to extras. And then ninth inning always gave him fits and troubles. Yesterday, two strikeouts, clean inning. I hope this is the start of things to come for Jeff Hoffman in this bullpen.
Yeah, no, it was absolutely great to see Hoffman, throw a clean inning. That's that 7 out of 65. That is
It's something
absolutely
to that
insane.
effect. It is
Oh
nuts.
my gosh, that is crazy. But no, I agree. Whenever Hoffman would come in the ninth inning, it's always like heart attack Hoffman. Like hopefully he can save the game. But it was good to see that, and I hope going forward, I wish him all the best in not the closer role. And one thing I wanted to point out about Jeff Hoffman is if you look at his Savant page, his stats are like high end of the league. So to say he couldn't turn it around this year is not would not be right to say, like besides the control, his stuff is just elite.
Yeah. Oh,
And
100%.
the
And
strikeout numbers show it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I just want to see some more consistency there. That's been a big problem for Jeff, and a large reason why, or the main reason why he got taken out of the closer role was because of that consistency. If you can find it in another position, seventh inning, setup man, go for it. Go for it. And then another guy who, like this Blue Jays bullpen is like full of studs. It's just full of guys who will give you innings and will give you clean innings and strike out guys, and they're a very fun bullpen. And today was a huge, huge like chance for the Boston Red Sox to get back in this ball game. It was the fifth inning. Eric Lauer, who we'll get to in a few minutes here, came out of the ball game after loading the bases with one out. Not a fun situation at all, and very difficult for a reliever to come into. Who is called upon? It's Braden Fisher. Braden Fisher has been very reliable, has pitched very high leverage, and now he's coming in the fifth inning, and he gets this huge double play that Wilson Contreras lined into. I mean, this was huge. You look, I don't know, I don't have the win probability stuff up here, but I bet our win probability went way up after that. Like that was huge, and boy, Braden Fisher just looks like he's really comfortable out there, and he was great last year as well. He just seems to kind of be fitting into a new role now and getting more high leverage opportunities, but also excelling at this kind of what Louis Varland did, where just hey, I messed up, come save the day kind of thing. Fireman role is what they call it, and I think Braden Fisher could be excellent in that role.
Yeah, yeah. Braden Fisher, man. We've talked a lot about hitting clutch today. Now let's talk about some pitching clutch, man. Like he is one of those guys, like you said, him and Louis Varland, they can come in any situation. And you can almost guarantee that they'll get you out of it with no damage or even a little bit of damage. And let's not forget, we traded Cabin Vigio for Braden Fisher a couple years back. So I think we got our value out of that deal for sure. And Braden Fisher has the way he's been pitching, like he's earned the right to come into these clutch situations. Like if you told me a year ago that Braden Fisher would be coming into these clutch situations, I would say you were crazy. I'd be like, who is that? Like this AAA pitcher? Like absolutely not. So it's kind of great to see kind of how he's came along and like he's been such a huge part to this bullpen.
Yeah, he really came out of nowhere and was on like nobody's radar.
Hmm.
And he's been mighty effective. And shout out to Braden Fisher and also shout out to many other relievers who've been performing as well. Spencer Miles, I think, saved our
Oh, he's
bullpen
been
today.
great.
He went, what, 2 innings? He's been
Mhm.
incredible in that 2, 3 inning spot that just saves our bullpen. Not like a long man, but like an in between of a long man and a reliever. So shout out to Spencer Miles, Tommy Nance pitched clean inning today, and a bunch of other guys. Joe Mantiply, I think, got into a little bit of a mess today, but Mason Fluharty, all these guys have been studs, and shout out to our bullpen so far. And now it's time for series struggles. This was a really fun series. So we don't got many struggles. I got one with the major league team here, and then we got another guy in a rehab assignment who didn't look too well, and his rehab assignment last night. But we will start with Eric Lauer, who pitched today. And I mean, if you look at the stat line again, the stat line doesn't tell you everything. You got to watch the game. He only gave up 1 run, and I think a 4 1/3 innings pitched. Okay, like not awful. It could have been a lot worse. It could have been a heck of a lot worse. And I think the exact same thing happened his last outing. I forget the exact situation, but I feel like he got out of a lot of trouble. And yeah, I think it was bases loaded again early in the game and like second inning and got out of that. And it's just been walking a tightrope really with Eric Lauer. And it's not quantified a whole lot. You don't see it in the earned runs, really, but it's going to come. It's going to come where Brain Fisher doesn't come into the game and rescue you and gives up a 2 run single. Like it just happens. It just happens. And then there goes your stat line. But also, there we go, blew our lead. Like it's just too much to kind of consistently do. You gotta stop allowing base runners because it's not sustainable. And I think his velo was a little better today, but not like maybe a tick and a half or a tick. Like it was up to 91, 92 as opposed to 90, 91. And man, shout out Braden Fisher. I think Eric Lauer's gotta get him a steak dinner after that performance because he saved his ERA a little bit.
Yeah, he definitely owes Brandon Fisher at least a steak dinner, maybe even some more. And
Yeah.
yeah, like you said, it definitely should have been a lot worse today for Eric Lauer. The stuff didn't look great. Like I feel like there was a few, like there was a Wilson Contreras hit a deep fly out to Miles Straw that was like 5 feet maybe from being another home run. They were hitting the ball decently hard. He only had one strikeout. So the fact that he only gave up 1 run is, in my opinion, very lucky. Um, and like really, I'm not a big Eric Lauer guy at this point, so we'll see what happens in the future, but I'm not very comfortable with him starting games.
Yeah, it was just circumstance and a guy we haven't really talked about and won't really talk about the rest of this episode is Max Scherzer, who landed on the IL. He hasn't been performing well, and maybe that's a large part due to his forearm tendonitis that he went on the IL for, and that was kind of a whole awkward situation. It's like Eric, you've been demoted, whatever. You said all that stuff, and you have been performing. You're demoted. Never mind, Eric. We want you to start tomorrow because Max is hurt. Okay, okay, sure. And I kind of liked the way the broadcast painted it before the game, talking about Eric Lauer. They were like, "Hey, man, if you want to be a starter, like go out and pitch 6 scoreless, and then we'll give you the starting role. It's not hard. Pitch well. Patrick Corbin stole your job. Like just pitch well, and you will land a starting role with this Blue Jays team. Just the way things have gone right now. So yeah, it's bound to happen where it's just like a complete blow up outing for Eric Lauer. And I hope it doesn't happen. I hope he takes care of things, finds that 93 again, 94. But as of right now, it doesn't look too good. And another guy, when talking about Velo, is Jose Barrios. Jose Barrios isn't with this major league team, but that this was a big storyline last night with the Buffalo Bisons. I think it was against the New York Yankees AAA affiliate, and Spencer Jones leadoff home run. Never good, never good. But when you look at the numbers, you look at the peripherals, the velo, he was around 90 miles per hour. That's not what you want. That's not going to play up here in the major leagues. Might play in Dunedin where you were pitching quite well. But when he was in Dunedin, he wasn't pitching 90 miles per hour. It was 93, 94, maybe even up to 95, which is the Jose Barrios we pretty much near acquired in 2021 and getting close to that form. If we could see that, amazing. If we get the Jose Barrios that we saw yesterday pitching for the Buffalo Bisons and gave up 5 earned runs and allowing a bunch of base runners, that's not good. So, Jose, at least you're healthy. At least you're healthy. It's always good to have another arm, but please throw harder and locate your stuff when you make it to the major leagues. And he will. It seems like he will come up rather soon. And so I just thought that was a decent storyline that came out yesterday. And one of the cons of the series was Jose Barrios' velo with the Buffalo Bisons.
For sure. I hope he can get back up to, like you said, 93, 94. So it is kind of interesting how he was only throwing 90 after kind of like a week ago he was at, 94, 93. One thing I wanted to point out though about that is like Trey Savage didn't pitch well in his rehab assignments either, and he
Mm.
kind of came up and he was good. So I think there's still a lot of optimism. And when guys are rehabbing too and going through stuff, like they sometimes like try things out. So maybe he was adjusting something with his mechanics really just didn't work out or something like that. You can just hope for that, and hope that when he gets back up to the majors, he is, Jose Barrios we know, and that he can hold a spot in our rotation for sure.
100%. I think that's a great point. Everyone was like, whoa, Trey Savage can't locate his fastball. What's going on? He's only going 2 innings. And this was like a week ago. Gets called up to the major leagues, and
Hmm.
guy's amped up, hasn't pitched in a long time since game five of the World Series, right? Or game seven, actually, for came in relief and pitched incredible. So it's just like Jose Barrios could come up and pitch super well. We just don't know, and all those kind of things will probably sort themselves out when it comes up to this major league team, and it seems like pretty soon at that. And then looking at the forecast, and we're facing the Minnesota Twins here, as I said at the start of the episode, and a 4 game set. We don't see many 4 games or 2 games recently, but we got a 4 game set against a not so great team in the Minnesota Twins. Trey and Springer are back. This is amazing. This is super fun. The lineup will be a whole lot better because we got a solidified leadoff guy who will be slot in the leadoff spot every day, except for probably a few off days every now and again to give him a breather. And for the rotation, Trey Savage is back, strengthens the rotation. But other guys we were talking about is Addison Barger. Is he back for the series? Jose Barrios, I don't think he will be back for the series. The pitching matchups don't really line up. But those guys all seem imminent when it comes to them coming back, which is incredible, which is awesome. And each of the last few episodes, we've talked about who goes down, who goes up. Well, yesterday, one of the answers was made by the Toronto Blue Jays when it came to activating George Springer, and that was DFAing Eloy Jimenez. So we know he won't be one of the options for the Toronto Blue Jays, but who will go down when Jose Barrios and Addison Barger come back from the IL?
Well, the easy answer, like I kind of said last episode for Addison Barger, would be Johendrick Pinango. He is, like you said, he's been playing well, but honestly, I think that's just the only option. Like we can send him down easily. He's a young guy. Like he could use the work at AAA for sure. Um, And the real interesting one though is who comes down or who goes down when Jose Barrios comes back. Because like we discussed last episode, Joe Mantiply, um, we talked about Tommy Nance, who's actually been pitching quite well the last few games. And Joe Mantiply has also done quite well. So the two guys for me that I could see either being DFA'd or sent down would honestly be at this point Joe Mantiply or Eric Lauer. So it kind of really just depends if the Blue Jays want to send Lauer to the bullpen and send Manaply down, or if they simply just want to say, "Okay, Eric, we've had our issues. Time's done."
Yeah, we was totally thinking along the same lines as you before this episode. Then I just remembered something. Hey, Chase Lee is on this roster. I totally forgot Chase Lee was in this bullpen. So I think Chase Lee goes down.
Yeah, they just sent Chase Lee down
Oh,
today
Chase Lee went
or
down?
yesterday for Trey, for you Savage.
For you, Savage. Never mind. Never mind. I forgot. But now that you said that, I think Mantiply goes down. Mantiply, who is quite old, I didn't know has an option left, which is quite valuable. And I don't think Eric Lauer gets DFA'd.
Mhm.
Just feels kind of early. I think that's a decision you make
Yeah,
when you got a
yeah.
full rotation, got a full bullpen, and even a long man, and then you have the luxury of doing that. If they choose to do that, it may not even happen. I think Joe Mantiply goes down, and then looking at the position player side of things, it really comes down to Lenine Sosa. Do you want to keep Lenine Sosa, who is out of options, or do you want to keep Yohendrick Pinango? I think you got to keep Lenine Sosa. I,
Mhm.
it's just like as I said in the last episode, gives me kind of IKF vibes for no good reason at all, but just utility. I think utility wise, the Jays like that. The Jays acquired him, traded Jordan Rich, the prospect, for him, who isn't a highly touted prospect, still a prospect though, and I don't think you can DFA Lenine Sosa.
Mhm.
As poor as he's been with the bat, I don't think you can do that. So I think
Mhm.
Yohendrick Pinango goes down, and then as you said, Joe Mantiply goes down as well. And yeah, Lenine Sosa, he was also on the defensive leaderboard I was looking at. He's got a +2 like fielding run value. And I was like,
Mhm.
okay, my eyes are not deceiving me because I feel like
Yeah.
he hasn't really messed up a play at second base when all the guys on Twitter were posting his all of the misplays in his career. That it looked like he was awful defensively, and then he's come here and it's been pretty okay. So I think Lenine Sosa stays for that fact. And now looking at some pitching matchups, boy, we got some good pitching matchups here for the Toronto Blue Jays because they've got all of their studs going, including Patrick Corbin. I would consider him like one of the top four pitchers for this Toronto Blue Jays team right now when it comes to starters. So it's Kevin Gausman versus Bailey Ober in game one. And then game two, it's Patrick Corbin versus Simeon Woods Richardson. And game three, it's Dylan Cease versus Connor Prelip. He's a rookie, just made his debut rather recently. And then it's Trey Savage versus Joe Ryan in game four. Excellent game as well. That's a tremendous game to watch. And in the last series, I think we were kind of right. I think we predicted we win the Dylan Cease game, which we lost
Mhm.
against Ranger
Yeah.
Suarez, and then we lose today's game, which was supposed to be the Max Scherzer game when we were talking about it, but we ended up winning today and then winning yesterday and losing Monday's game. So my prediction here is let's take 3 out of 4. Let's keep this whole winning series thing going. And hey, if you want to bring out the brooms, go for it. It's 4 games. That kind of scared me. And the Twins haven't been playing awful ball. They've been pretty okay. So I'm going three out
Mhm.
of four. And I think we win the first 3 games of this series. I think we win the Kevin Gausman, Patrick Corbin, and Dylan Cease game and take 3 out of 4 from this Minnesota Twins team.
Compared to the last series against the Twins, I completely expect a 180. Like I expect our boys to come out more prepared, and I
Yeah.
expect the Twins to come out more in reality because I think they were playing a little too well, a little bit better than they actually were. And I actually really like the pitching matchups for this series for the Blue Jays. I see no reason why we can't win all four games. Doesn't mean we will. But looking at the Gosman and Cease starts, like if they pitch well, we should realistically win both those games because we're not facing super strong pitchers. Looking at the Patrick Corbin versus Simeon Woods Richardson. If Corbin just does an all right job like he's been doing all year, we hit Simeon Woods Richardson very well in the past. So there's that. And then game four, you Savage versus Joe Ryan. That is a phenomenal pitching matchup right there. That game could go either way. And if we're gonna lose one, I feel like it probably would be that one. But if Trey Savage comes out and we decide to come to play and with the bats, then I could realistically see a sweep. But I'm not going to predict a sweep. I'm going to also say we're going to take 3 out of 4.
I was hoping you would say it. I was hoping just for
No,
some
I
jazz
can't. I can't.
to jazz it up a little bit, but that's probably the realistic outcome. I think even if you split, it's not the worst thing in the world. Just don't lose the series. Um,
Yeah.
splitting, like I feel like every time there's a 4 game set, team split. Or
Hmm.
like a doubleheader team split. And if you split or win the series, that's good for me. And then after that, you got the Rays, Angels, Rays. Rays have just been the Rays. Like they're just the same thing every year, man. They're so frustrating to watch. And you got the House of Horrors back into play, and then the LA Angels, Jordan Romano's former team, and that should be
Warmer.
fun. Former just happened, and that should be a fun series. You were talking about potential Alek Manoah pitching matchup as he's coming back from an injury. That
I
could be
hope.
fun. Would pay to watch that. Oh my goodness. And then you got the Rays after the Angels series. Thank you guys for listening. This has been an incredible episode. What a great series. And let's hope this Blue Jays team wins a fourth consecutive series, which would be insane. Would kind of be a great start to the season after what it was a week or two ago. And we look forward to this Twin series. And thank you, Tyler, once again for joining us.
Yeah, of course. I look forward to these coming series. I'm not excited to go back to the Trop. I didn't mind not playing there last year, but all around, go Jays.
Go Jays!